Everybody listen to We're Not Wizards, because we are the best, and we're not wizards, no matter what anybody says. Goodbye.
And welcome to Sporadically No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. That's terrible. I can't get them out of my head. Even when I try and say the name, Dan Hughes, that's how it comes out. It's just awful. Let's do a gap. Let's try that again. Fucking hell. Okay. New Year's resolution was to try and do a sensible and serious podcast, and it looks like we're failing. We're crashing. It's not working.
Like all New Year's resolutions.
I've been watching you do live videos with folk, and it's all so serious and professional, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that man. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be doing that, and I just messed it up, you know. And also, because I've not been doing podcasts, my swearing ratio's gone right up. So it's gone. It's like going to come on and like swear like a trooper, realise I can't do it. Anyway. Try again.
Okay.
Probably just leave this in. Hello and what? No, can't.
Hello.
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 No. Okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard. I'll be your host for. It's January. It's 2019. What are you going to be up to? I can't think of a proper intro. Anyway. A long time ago, I can still remember when we went down to Harrogate. And I knew if I took the chance, I could make the people prance, and they'd maybe play board games for a while. February made me shiver. And all the cardboard I deliver. Conference on my doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. So I can't believe I'm going with this. I can't believe I then tried to get down to Airecon, go down the A95, and bumped into Mark Cooke. Hey. Hello, Mark Cooke.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, very good. It's good to have you on.
It's good to be back.
It's been a while. I just said, I've been seeing a lot of you. You've been getting about a bit. And yeah. I was quite concerned that it's all been very, very professional and it's all been very, very serious. But then I did hear that you were on...
Hello!
You were on, yeah. Sporadically bored, spontaneously bored. It's Dan Hughes, he's got in my head. Dan Hughes? Anyway, there's a lot of editing to get done already, and we're just 5 minutes in, which is absolutely fantastic. We spoke earlier on, well... at the early doors of kind of 2018 when you were just about to start off to do your Airecon thing again, and I think the big news at the time was you were going to have kind of Rodney Smith was going to be staying at your house.
He did stay at my house, yeah.
So I want to know how that went, first of all. Did you manage to get the shrine kind of set up? And
yeah.
Did you show him your little framed picture of where you backed him on kind of Kickstarter?
Yeah. I just sort of left it under the pillow.
What's that bulky, hard thing under my pillow?
The thing that was a bit weird that I'd forgotten to get rid of, so it's a bit better now since I've watched this tidying up show on Netflix, but my kind of computer area used to be a bit of a mess, and when I first did the announcement that he was going to be coming, I couldn't think of a way of showing everyone on Facebook Live like a picture of him, so like online. So I printed one off to show it to the camera so everyone would know it was Rodney Smith. But I'd forgotten to tidy that up. So there was a picture of him laying around, because my office is also the spare room.
That's fantastic.
There was just a picture of him on the desk. He must have just been like, what on earth? Where am I? And then especially because so our house, like the spare room's up in the attic, and there's a lock on the outside of the door, and he must have just for small. It's supposed to be for small children to stop them getting upstairs, but he must have just thought, "Wow, I go in.
What am I getting myself into?
I can go up this stairwell into a bedroom I can't necessarily get back out of, and there's a picture of me in there.
It'd be like some kind of stalker thing, and it's like, what was the plan? It's like, well, but 5-6 years ago, I decided I want to catch myself, Rodney Smith. So how'd you go about that? Well, I could go to his house, or I could start a games convention, and over a period of time, gain up the audience, the numbers, where I could actually just turn around and get him to come to me.
Exactly. It's it would have fooled Clouseau. Like, he would have been.
Was the clue the fact that walls were made out of glass and kind of had holes?
A little hatch
cut into them, so you could breathe. A little foot hatch for him to take kind of stuff through. Yeah. That would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I take it went well then.
Yeah, no, he had a lovely time, and it was all quite rushed. So he kind of landed on I think it was the Thursday, and I picked him up from Heathrow, and we kind of came back up the M1 via Warhammer World in Nottingham, and had a nice wander around, and that was kind of cool because he's done a few videos for Games Workshop, so we kind of got a nice VIP tour and got taken into a back room where they showed us some of these games that were at the time they were all top secret. I think they've released them all now, or they were certainly.
All right, that's cool.
But yeah, that was nice, and then we came back up and we went out for fish and chips like you do.
But does he go? Was this a new thing for him though?
Fish and chips
was it kind of like, oh, that must have been weird actually? And he's like, this is covered in batter. It's like, yes, isn't that bad for you? Yes. Aren't you going to eat it? Yeah, I better eat it. But
well, so he said he liked the fish and chips. He wasn't so keen on the curry sauce, on the fish and chip shop curry sauce. He wasn't a big fan of. And then the next day, I think in the morning, my wife took him out to York, and they had a little wander around York, which is a lovely place to go.
Yeah,
it was good. But he must have had a fairly reasonable time. He's coming back, so.
Yeah, I mean, how do you approach that? Did you just kind of like say, "So you doing anything round about March next year again?"
Well, I just went straight after the conference. Hope you had a good time. Do you want to come back next year? Yeah. So, and then we met up at Essen actually.
Yeah.
And went out for a meal, and he showed us Keyforge, which at the time it wasn't properly released at Essen. I think they were demoing it at Essen, but he had some packs because he was doing some videos on it. So we went back to his hotel and he opened some decks of Keyforge and we had a go. It was good.
cracked open a couple of bottles of bubbly, got some Keyforge on.
Around the bubble bath.
Bit of Kenny G.
Yeah. And this time, when he comes over this time, so he's coming over a bit earlier because he wants to try and not be as jet lagged. But I mean, he was amazing. He just powered through everything. Like, to say that he'd been travelling for the best part of a week or something to get here. He just kept going. But he said this time, do you mind if I come a day or two earlier? And so we're going to take him on a boat instead this time. We're going to take him on a canal barge and try not to drown him.
Try not to drown. Can you imagine if you just turned up and went, well, you've heard the news. It's not going to be any more Watch It Blade. You'd be the man that killed Rodney Smith. I don't think you'd be able to go outside.
Probably not. Yeah.
What happened? He kind of fell over and he disappeared. It was kind of like Bird Box, but the bad ending. He went down the rapids.
He was on the front trying to do the Titanic move, and there was a low bridge.
You insisted he was stood at the front, so you could wrap your arms round his waist, so he could put his arms out. Make me fly, Mark. Make me fly.
Yeah. Yeah. So so it'd be a lovely time.
I put the fear of death in you.
Yeah. So what it is so the reason I got the idea is I don't know if you've been watching. He started like a personal vlog. Obviously he's been doing Watch It Played now for whatever it's 7-8 years or something. And I think he says on one of them that he felt that it's all very structured. Watch It Played, like it's the same thing. Although he loves it, he wanted to do some more creative stuff. And so he does this personal vlog, and there's him kind of kayaking up and down this river out the back of his house. So I thought, I wonder if we've got any of that round here. And all we have really around here are the big whitewater rapids.
Yeah.
If you want to do kayaking. And I thought, that's probably not a good idea.
It's probably going back to the Titanic thing again.
Yeah. So, and then I was like, oh, well, we've got loads of canals, and canal barges are a big thing around here, so let's have a go at that instead. And, yeah. It should be fun. I'm just kind of trying to imagine him and his amazing Canadian surroundings. That's all, like these stupidly big trees, or, on the back of a canal barge going through Bradford.
You'll have to give him a couple of days. He'll end up with like 20 pence and hedges in his back pocket.
Yeah.
Pork pie hat.
Yeah.
Selling jewellery and stuff to folk that go past and things like that. You'll have him completely converted. But it sounds like an awful lot of fun. What going back to the serious business of not that obviously Rodney Smith isn't serious business.
Yeah.
But what kind of effect did that have on the con? I mean, on the event, did you see did you see a big spike in numbers with people? Did it have a positive kind of effect on there?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine so. Like, we definitely had a spike in numbers. It was up again quite significantly on the previous year. It's always kind of hard to know why that is, though. But I'm sure, the feedback that we've had has been amazing. About having Rodney there, like people, he's just such a nice guy, and people, it just kind of fits the vibe of the show anyway, where it's just quite relaxed and friendly, and everyone kind of generally gets on. And so people were just, asking straight away, will he be back next year?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure it had an impact, and and he will be back, and hopefully I'd say we're gonna try and structure it a bit more this time, because it was just a bit, he just kind of played games with anyone that asked, but I think it got a bit it was quite busy for him sometimes, so we're going to just, like, we put in proper slots where you can just get a game with him, and he'll be doing some other stuff around. But yeah, I'm sure it had a really good impact, and certainly on, like I said, on the show during the time, people were very positive about the whole thing.
Is that, I mean, this year, has it made it easier for you to kind of like book tables and stuff like that? Have you had a lot more people kind of, I know you've obviously had your previous list, so you would have gone back to them and said, okay, if you want to book a table. Has it meant that, the tables kind of for kind of exhibitors, have they sold out kind of really, really quickly, really, really well, yeah? Yeah,
they did very quickly, and kind of surprised us a little bit. Because we'd kind of done the hall plans, we'd increased the exhibitor area slightly, but we had to, it was about 2 months ago now, I think, just before Essen. So it was kind of funny, because we were going to Essen to try and, the original idea was to try and sell space. But we'd sold it all like a month before Essen, so we just kind of went and just said hello to people instead.
Had a bit of a jolly.
Yeah.
Kind of walked around, But I mean, that must have taken a lot of the pressure off, because I know that one of the things, the guys from Tabletop Scotland, I think one of the things that they were concerned about is, it's very well having people kind of coming along, having a library of games to be able to kind of like play, but they also, you need also the kind of the distractions at the beginning, because people, when they usually come in, they don't just sit down and go straight for a game. Yeah. They usually have like a little kind of wander about and stuff like that as well. Does that mean, have you considered kind of expanding then? I think you mentioned that, the Harrogate Convention Centre has got the ability to maybe expand a little bit, but not that much. I mean, if you
I think we're okay there for a good few years. Yeah, I think we did the maths, and I think we can go up to about 9,000 or 10,000 if we ever got to that big. So it's there's plenty of space. It's kind of a really odd place, like a bit like a TARDIS kind of thing, where you see the outside. It's big, obviously, from the outside, but there's just so many of these big hidden halls all over. We have increased the space already this year, so we've got 2 halls this year on the Saturday. But I think we're going to have to just make some decisions after this one of what we want to do, because we've had to say no to some people this year, which is, sad. We don't like saying no to people, but I think, we want to go down the Open Gaming route. We want to be the convention to come and play games at. So that has to be our priority first, and then we'll put the exhibitors in afterwards. So whether we do something like an application kind of system next year, maybe, or we pull the trade out of that hall and have a bigger space for everyone, I don't know. We'll have to make a decision then. But yeah, it's good and it's nice. It's like you said, it does definitely take a bit of the pressure off. Because I do remember, like a couple of years ago, back to, I think it was our second public one, I think, was when we first had exhibitors, and we were only trying to sell 4 plots at the time, and that was a struggle. And now we've got 50 something. So it's definitely a different kind of thing, and it's good, and it enables us to make sure there's a good mixture of different exhibitors. So one of the things I noticed, I don't know whether it's because of the dwindling kind of number of distributors. So really, there's kind of only 2 or 3 distributors to retailers now. So when you go to some of the bigger trade shows, most of the people that are just general sellers of games have quite similar stuff, and they'll just try and knock a pound off of the person that's closest to them or whatever. So we very early on put a limit that we're not going to have more than 4 general sellers, and they're all quite different as well, which is nice. So it let us then around that put in kind of some cool funky stuff. So we've got people that make their own dice bags, and Oink Games are coming, the small Japanese games. Yeah. So, and we've got Draw Lab coming over from Greece, and they make these really cool, like trebuchet style dice chuckers and catapults and stuff. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff going on, and that enables us to do that, kind of pick and choose a little bit more, whereas maybe before we were just saying yes to anything. Thankfully, it all was pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, yes, you can come on. Yes, no, it's fine. No, you can wear speedos while selling board games to people. I'm sure they kind of don't mind. That's perfect. Yes, you are allowed to run around the block so you appear slightly sweaty. Yeah, that's that. No, everybody likes blue vein cheeses. Waft away.
EastEndersOpoly is a great idea.
Exactly, it's just a saxophone impressions. No, it's just not. Only a saxophone impression only actually ever works if you put your thumb in your mouth while you try to do it. See, perfect. Took my thumb out of my mouth, doesn't work at all.
Nonsense.
It's just you need like the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But have you had to, in this part of the show, we're all going to go up an octave. Have you had to change your view to be, okay, when Airecon started, right, it was you opening the house, getting some people round. Then obviously you moved into the Harrogate Convention Centre. Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you having to kind of put on your more of a business hat? Are you having to kind of look at this? I know obviously it's kind of coming to its own, but as you're saying, well, we've got the potential to now, we're going like into the second hall and we're bringing in 50 exhibitors. Are you having to have like serious kind of more kind of, would you say you become more business-like in the way that you approach it? Are you kind of like having a plan? Is there strategy involved? Things like that?
You would think. But no, it's all still very much, we're doing it because we like doing it and we enjoy it, and we don't. So I never try and push anything or sell anything. If someone is like, if I suggest something to someone and they kind of go, I get a feeling that they're not really that up for it, I'm not going to do the hard sell. So we've not kind of gone that businessy, I don't think. And it's still, it's still, even though it's still growing at a massive rate, the hobby, I think it's still fairly small and relational. And even, just the thing of, because it is board games and you sit down with people and play games with people, it's still very face-to-face and getting on with people. So I think I already knew pretty much all of the exhibitors or had met them somewhere before. Yeah. So it's kind of like a nice friendship thing. So we've not had to get too businessy as far as I know. I mean, we've had to do things like set up an invoice system. And it's like that kind of background work, the boring stuff.
Zero, no. That kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think generally it's still all, it's all very nice and relational and just chatting to people. And, I had what was supposed to be a business meeting with some people at Essen. I can't remember who it was now. And we just sat and chatted and, ate some sweets and stuff. And then kind of went, should we chat about Airecon? And then it was just like, we probably don't need to, do we? We're like, no, it's fine. See you there. And that was it.
That's probably how most business meetings actually happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's like, who brought the celebrations in?
Yeah.
Somebody should have brought the celebrations. I got heroes. Oh, they'll do. Just crack them open. Let's kind of crack on. What about the business meeting? We don't do business here.
Yeah.
We do business on the golf course.
I've got roses. Get out, Jim.
Jim's had those roses for the last 3.5 years. He keeps bringing them in and hopeful. I thought he'd left the job. He does, but he still brings them.
He just waits. With
Janice down the hall, she kind of always invites him along to the meetings because she feels sorry for him because he's out in his allotment. Yeah. But he keeps bringing those roses back.
It's not even a big plastic tub. It's just one of those small cardboard things, that you get for £2.
He's eating all the toffees.
He's eating all the purple ones.
He's taking them all out. He's not that. He's cracked the chocolate around the nut ones and then he's wrapped them back up.
Oh,
dirty man. Are you looking at expanding the kind of the experiences that you offer then? I mean, there's kind of like the digital world seems to be kind of calling its name. I mean, are you looking at things like, is it in terms of the demonstrations and stuff like that? I mean, have you got different people approaching you, kind of looking at demo, kind of different products now? I mean, you've obviously your Geek and Sun tables and stuff and general kind of accessories. Are you kind of getting approached by those people too?
Yeah. So got a fair few kind of people that just make cool stuff. And then we had, unfortunately, we had to say no because we had filled up with space when they approached us. But there was someone that makes like board game themed drinks or something. And,
whoa!
Yeah. So that was quite cool. But yeah, unfortunately, I had to say no. And they were called the Something Tavern. I wish I could remember the name now. But hopefully next year we'll be able to get them back. But yeah, we've got kind of Mythic Games are coming this time to do some demoing. And Asmodee will be back doing some demoing. So we're still trying to get a good mixture of where you can sit and play games and have people teach you games. So Paul Grogan from Game Rules, he's going to be at the Geek and Sun tables, like where he'll just demo a bunch of different stuff from different publishers. So that's cool. And then we're still doing our events as well, which we have always just kind of focused around really fun stuff. We do a couple of kind of panel things and a bit more of the serious stuff, but it's a lot of silly fun. So we've got an event that we did at one of our very early Airecons. So I don't know if you ever used to watch Geek and Sundry when they used to do a bit more board gamey stuff, but they had a show that was called Super Fun Awesome Party Game Time. And it was basically where they kind of got classic kids or family games and just made them big and silly and ridiculous. Like, you see those things on Facebook where it's people playing Hungry Hippos, where they lie on a skateboard with a washing basket and just trying to grab tennis balls.
Yeah.
So we did a version of that live at, like I said, a few Airecons ago, where we played blindfolded giant Jenga, and Bez did a version of In a Bind that was like with giant cards and made special cards for it and things like that, and lots of silly things. So that's making a return, and it's just going to be stupid, but it'll be really fun. And so it's called Super Fun Awesome Party Game Time 2, the reimagining live. All
right.
Yeah. So there'll just be lots of silly challenges where. So a bit of a spoiler. One of them will be like, we're going to line up meeples on a table, and you have a balloon. You have to blow up the balloon and blow the meeples off the table with the air from the balloon, and the team that does it first wins.
Have you been practicing?
I've had a couple of goes at some of them. Yeah.
So you can turn up like in a disguise. We've got like a. Hello, is that your disguise voice?
Yeah, it's me.
You have it here. Mark Cooke and he goes, "Oh, I don't know. Have you seen Mark? He was here somewhere. He said he was going to grab some lunch. Anyway, let's do this prize for a sealed copy of the Case of the Old World and Fury of Dracula, shall we? And our first contestant, we've got Mr. What's your name? It's Cock Mook. Hello. Yeah. But anyway, so that sounds good. One thing you mentioned was not to do with board gaming, but to do with baking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just I hadn't forgotten.
Yeah.
But Kim Joy's going to be coming from.
Yeah.
She's known for kind of doing rather well in the Great British Bake Off.
She did, yeah.
Yeah. Was that... how did that kind of come about? Was that kind of... Because you know them quite well. So, in terms... if we look at the kind of like how she did in the series, were you kind of cheering her on constantly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Were they not allowed to tell you?
No, they weren't allowed to say anything, and they did really, really well.
Wow.
Because I kept trying to get out of them, especially Nabil, which is Kim Joy's partner, and so he's one of the Airecon team.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And I really thought I could crack him, but he did really, really well. Because I think I actually met Kim Joy before I met Nabil, and before they were a couple at just a games night, and so she is a gamer, and but then I was playing a game of Resistance with Nabil once. And he was just dreadful at it, like really, really bad. Like he couldn't hide the fact that he was a spy. And then in another game, he didn't think he was the spy, but he was. And it was things like this, just really bad at it. So I was like, I could definitely crack him, and I could definitely, I could definitely get the results of Great British Bake Off and then tweet it or sell it to the highest bidder or something. But no, they did really well, and I went and watched it with him a few times as well. They kind of did these viewing parties, and they didn't even tell us the result of that show. Like they waited until the end, and so we went and watched the final with them. Which was kind of funny because it's like they obviously know the whole results of everything. But yeah, it was good. It was good fun. And but she came to Airecon last year, obviously before Great British Bake Off. And then. But she said, she obviously just wants to come back and play some games and stuff. She can probably only make one day, I think. She's probably only going to be on the Saturday. Unless some big engagement comes up, maybe going to bake for the Queen or something.
But have you kind of, is she going to be kind of like directly involved in everything as well then? Are you making kind of like and with, and with Kim Joy from the Great British Bake Off. Yeah. And then Rodney Smith's going to go like, Rodney's going to be pissed.
Who?
Do you know, everybody's going to be, he's going to be like, here, let me sign this for you. And it's like, no, who are you? Somebody's got their spatula and a marker pen and a hopeful look in their eye.
Yeah.
Rodney's going to be going along going, what's happened? What's happened?
They probably don't have that over there, do they? Well, they wouldn't have the Great British Bake Off.
I don't think they would. They've probably got the Great American Shouting at Flower kind of match. It's probably presented by Gordon Ramsay, and he just runs around throwing icing at everybody and then kicking people in the head, telling them how absolutely useless they are.
Super Canadian roadkill cook-off.
I know. But, I mean, on the other side of it, is there a chance there's going to be some people that are going to turn up just to see her?
Yeah, potentially.
And have never played a board game before in their life. Or they're going to be coming in and going, what's this all about then? How do we do this?
Yeah.
And the first experience of a board game is where you're going to be telling them, right, so you get the balloon, you blow in here.
Blow the meeples off the table.
Try and blow the meeples off the table, and that's their impression of a board game. Of our entire hobby.
Yeah.
It's going to be them blowing wooden little tokens off a table. So you need to be careful here, because you're going to be the ambassador.
And that you've just really ramped up the pressure there now.
I've just, that's my job, is to just build on the pressure here. It's like, not everybody's, you're going to be judged. I'm just saying.
Is Paul Hollywood going to come in and just be like, no, these are terrible board games?
Imagine if you rocked up. Imagine if you just walked up to you and went, yep, you got Monopoly.
Have you got Paul Hollywood Monopoly?
Have you got the Great British Bake Off Monopoly?
Breadopoly.
That's so good.
Yeah. Could be one.
No,
it might be one.
It probably is. Is it rule 37 or something? Is it as soon as you mention something being a version of Monopoly, it just pops into existence somewhere, pretty much.
It kind of makes me rethink the idea that I had when I was chatting to Dan Hughes the other day. We were saying that I had an idea for a live show would be him trying to get his 3D printer working in front of everyone. So
I think that would be amazing. It would be like Scrapyard Challenge,
but angrier.
Just angrier.
Turning it into scrap rather than making something out of scrap.
Does it look like Crichton? Just an angry guy going about with a beard, and you can just imagine it all backcombed and like half of his face kind of all being powdered with something's going on fire. And he's had to kind of like make himself like some kind of cradle for his arm where everything is kind of going to come crashing down. It's like, this is shite! Anyway, so...
Someone goes, you can't swear. I'm not on the dice tower now.
Exactly. Behave yourself, Dan. No way! Anyway, he's becoming a regular feature on the show now. He just gets talked about. It's ever since Matthew Jude was on the show. It's kind of like, you've kind of got Dan. You got Dan Hughes. See, I can't even say his name without saying it the way that he says it, which is even worse. We're going to have to edit out this whole bit because he's just going to come down. Is he coming to Airecon?
Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah.
Oh, will he?
Yeah.
Oh, that gives me even more reasons to kind of go in a disguise. So if you see me and I go, hi, Mark.
Who are you?
Hi,
Paul Hollywood.
Would you like to see my copy of
Breadopoly?
Breadopoly. Can't even get the name right. It's not even that. It's not even kind of that good. Where are you in terms of preparation? I mean, is this the kind of the mad kind of, I guess, kind of 2 months, or is everything, have you kind of like, well, I've done this so many times, I'm just going to rock up 3 days before, I know where the chairs are, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, no, it's definitely kind of it's the post-Christmas, now we really need to do a lot of stuff. So we generally know everything that we need to do before Christmas. But then after Christmas is that now we just need to do everything, like order furniture. Because the way I think when you were chatting to the Tabletop Scotland guys, they were saying this as well, of where just how your finances actually come in. All the money is kind of weighted right up to close to the show that's coming in because everyone's buying last minute tickets. But you have to pay for everything like 3, 4, 5 months in advance. And so it's kind of everything's lined up, and it's just this time now is now go, spend. and it's just
it's like a wedding,
yeah,
basically.
Exactly, yeah, and it's kind of it's great. At the same time, it's a little bit stressful when you have to pay like £4,000 for tables and chairs. You kind of just hoping it all comes together, and it generally has done so far. It's been fine, but also like a lot of the design stuff, because for some reason people like to leave stuff fairly late on in the day to say, oh yeah, I want to be a sponsor, or I want to do this or do that. So you have to leave a lot of that stuff late. We have done more. I think we were talking just about digital stuff earlier. We've gone more digital in terms of we've got an app now, so that's helped because you can update that a lot easier.
I kind of dropped that subtle hint there, and it just like I was gonna go
went off on a tangent.
Grab it.
Yeah.
Nice. I always went and talk about something else, but
I'll just do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Go.
I think we were talking about saxophones or something.
Got my thumb in my mouth.
So we got like an app is much easier to update than obviously a piece of paper where you have to, when you've printed 5,000 of something, you can't just make a small change to them all.
Just go around folks' houses. I've just got to change that at 5 o'clock if that's okay with you.
I'm really sorry. It still says 2018, which I actually did. Yeah. Which was kind of annoying. Not this time last year, just after Airecon last year when I printed all the flyers for this year. 5,000 flyers, it said 2018, and so I had to go to Ben, who looks after all of our money, and I said, Ben, I'm really sorry. I spent all this money, and these are all useless because they say 2018 because I'd used the same template.
Oh dear!
Yeah,
that's
it. Wasn't.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. But that must have been.
Yeah, it was.
But an app's fine.
An app's great because someone says, "Oh, you've spelt Airecon wrong," and we go, "That's fine. I can change it from here." And then we're working actually. What I like to say at the minute is we're working with a developer in New Zealand, but actually what it is our friend that used to work with us here in Bradford, who's just gone out to New Zealand for a few months, but he is a developer. So he's working on a digital system for our library and for our Bring a Buy as well. Okay. So it's where we like bringing in the digital stuff where it can help. We're not just doing it for the sake of it, but. So it'll be cool. And the app's great. It's like a dedicated kind of event app thing. And these guys, we just got in touch with these guys over Twitter, I think. And they have a bunch of different events hosted on there. But you can kind of add guests and you can see all the events and you can create little meetups. So you could use it really easily to kind of arrange a game. Just say, I want to play 18X Bradford, whatever. Does anyone else want to play with me? And they can kind of sign up to the game, and so it's really cool, a really good app that we're going with, and like a nice little chat box thing, and it's free, which is good.
And where can you get the app?
The easiest way, so the app's called Fanguru, but if you go to our events pages, facebook.com not Facebook, airecon.uk/events, and then there's actually a widget for the app there that you can click on, and it'll take you through to the download link is probably the easiest way, because the actual address is a bit, one of those funny ones. It's like fan.guru.app/Airecon, something like that. But yeah, and it's proven to be very good and very useful.
I mean, in terms of like, are you starting with there being more people kind of coming along? Is kind of like folk staying and stuff like that? Is that becoming the norm? Because I noticed on the website you're actually putting kind of like links into the hotel rooms as well. So you finding you're getting more and more people kind of coming from far and wide? Yeah.
So certainly in terms of people making the journey and coming and staying, and what we're hearing quite a lot of actually, which is nice, is people are bringing their families that maybe are not so into games, because of Harrogate being a lovely place, and they're kind of turning it into a small holiday, and so they'll, they can dip in and out of the convention as they want, but at the same time they can go and join their family in Harrogate and enjoy the lovely spa town. So we definitely, and we've already seen a huge spike in our kind of multi-day tickets compared to last year. which just suggests definitely there's more people coming, and there's more people, a greater percentage of people that are staying for 2 or 3 days of the convention. So that's really cool. And I think that's nice that, that adds to the kind of friendly vibe, because even if you don't know people, you kind of see the same people quite a lot around, like buzzing around the hall.
Yeah.
And you kind of do that funny, I think I know you from somewhere. I probably just saw you in the toilets or something. And that kind of half nod, just in case they nod back. You kind of
exactly.
It's not a full committed nod, but
it's just so you can I'm acknowledging you exist as a fellow human being, or, oh my goodness, are you Ross from More Games, please?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I'm expecting him to look like a cartoon.
I did it at a Tabletop Scotland. Is that Ross from More Games? Because it's almost like I did that almost when you meet a famous person kind of thing. You kind of went, it's you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go on,
yeah.
Aren't you? It's I had my We're Not Wizards t-shirt on, so he just looked at me and went, I'm not sure I'm meant to know who you are, but I went, yes. You were on the show, we spoke, talked about Carcassonne, I came to your wedding,
I was an usher, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Married your sister.
Exactly.
I saw, this is a bit of a name drop, but it's not really, it's kind of a bit funny.
Yeah,
but in my local Morrison's on New Year's Eve, I saw Tony Robinson was just like wandering around, looking really grumpy. It was really funny. He was just like, why am I in this place? Like, he had that kind of look of, don't approach me.
I bet he just gets Baldric references all the time.
Did you?
I bet you that's his entire life.
Yeah, I did wonder about asking him if he had a cunning plan to beat the queues, and then I thought, better not. Or time team. I would have. I would have walked right up there and went, "Is it a cunning plan that's so cunning you could put a tail on it and call it a fox?" Yeah.
And then
But then I overheard a couple in the car park where the guy was saying, "Oh, I think you can tell a lot about people by how they respond when you say hello." And he's obviously referencing Tony. And then his wife's like, "Oh, well, I don't think he wanted to be there, really, did he?" So he'd obviously just been really narky with them. And then this guy was having a bit of I did my best, Blackadder impression. And
I know. Or I went in and said, "Do you know what's here, Tony? Series of small walls."
Yes.
That's what I would have done. Because I'm funny.
That's a good reference.
No, I wouldn't have done that. But you can imagine he's just getting folk kind of coming up. That's why I'm kind of glad that this podcast isn't going as well as it could do. Because I don't want to be in that situation where folk just walk up to me. Because I would just go, "What do you want?"
And I suppose you would have to talk before, because your face isn't out there that much. So
it's probably a good thing. I have got a face for podcasting. I absolutely, definitely have. I will be wearing bacon if I come to Airecon, so that I can get at least the dogs to play with me. Like Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah.
I'll be coming down in a big steak dress. Might as well. Or maybe some kind of cake kind of thing.
Yeah.
Try and just ask Kim Joy, what do you think? What do you think of these scones? Made them myself. I know they're like shoulder pads, but you can't have everything.
That's how they're supposed to be, trust me.
Exactly. Where are you with ticket sales? I'm not expecting exact numbers, but I'm guessing that you're kind of... Are you kind of with, again, my only reference being Dave at Tabletop Scotland, kind of like at the beginning was going, "Oh, it's trundling along," and then towards the end it went, "Why?" Yeah. And then are you kind of like sitting there going, well, do you have kind of direct... I take it you've got direct comparisons so you can say, well, actually, we're fine. We're there or thereabout. Either it's 20 or 30 either way, so we're kind of cushy.
Yeah. Yeah, so we obviously can do year-on-year comparisons of at least percentage of... We definitely sell something like 70% of our tickets in the last month before the event, which is which is just bonkers. And we are already about 40% up on last year. So if that carries on that trend, we're looking at about 2,500 individuals, I think. So so it'll be a big jump again. Yeah, and it's all going. We were kind of a little bit worried before we launched the ticket sales, because last year we did like this big prize draw thing where for every 10 tickets or every 100 tickets or something that we sold, we did like a prize draw and we gave something away. So that kind of pushed everything a bit earlier. So we were like, oh, we haven't got that this year. You know, are we going to see a slower start? But actually, it's been fine, and it's been good. So yeah, I think we're about 750-ish unique, like today. Like I said, with about 60 or 70% of the tickets going to be in the last month, that's going to quickly go up.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, and I think the other side of it, I don't think offering people that collect board games a board game is necessarily an incentive for them to go ahead and get something. Because a lot of them will probably be, well, it'll join my little pile of shame of other stuff that I haven't played. And I think with stuff like what you're offering, it's the experience side of things. Let's face it, people want a chance to maybe get introduced to games that they haven't played before. I mean, for people like myself, it'll be a chance to kind of run around, just wearing my t-shirt, nothing else, and meeting all these wonderful people.
Something else.
That I've interviewed.
Something else. Trousers.
Maybe. Yes, I think so. That should be that's probably a good idea. But no, I mean, as I say, in a lot of cases, it's an experience. I think there's a places like the UK Games Expo are still, to me, very daunting because of how busy they could be. Some place like, say, as I say, Tabletop Scotland, it was fantastic because I got to meet a whole load of people. Something like Airecon, again, equally appeals to me because I know there's going to be the likes of Dan Hughes and, a lot of other people. I think the guys, potentially the guys from Polyhedron and Collider are going to be there.
Yeah.
Unlucky Frog are going to be there. There's going to be a folk that are maybe don't want to be kind of London bound to get somewhere, but they'll be making the journey up, to Harrogate just to, because they've been along a couple of times, and that's kind of attractive to me. That it's only around about 4 hours away from me, so it's a drive. It's the way I look at it is I just need to put on 4 of my podcasts and listen to myself, and then listen to myself on the way back, and then have a wee cry because I've not got any other podcasts to listen to. No, I mean it's you kind of get used to it. So I think
could you hook up with someone else and do like your own series of that car share thing? You could 2 podcasters in a punto or something.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
I don't know if the world's ready for that. Because it's not only just because first of all, right, I'm quite angry at driving. There'll be a lot of swearing. Do you know what I mean? Will you get over the road? I don't care how many walking sticks you're using. Will you cross across that zebra crossing? For goodness sake. Or I'll just give you a gentle nudge.
Yeah.
In my car.
It'd be amazing. Like you could have a wizard and 3 frogs.
I don't know even why you're going there, unless you're saying I'm a frog, which is acceptable. If you're saying I'm a wizard, there's an awful lot of nasty things we could edit into this show.
Yeah. Not a wizard and 3 unlucky frogs.
3 unlucky
share a kangoo.
Share a kangoo, and then we have singing halfway through.
Yeah.
And it could be the EastEnders theme tune.
I've just had another idea for a really good game, which maybe it's a this game is broken kind of game, which is you do a saxophone impression. Am I doing it with my thumb in my mouth or not in my mouth? And that's the whole game.
And you could call it oral sax.
Yeah.
Here you go. That has to be the next round. Or you could play it, because the way they do the convoluted, they've got the barcode game as well. So they actually get people to guess the barcode. So what you could do is, if a board game had a theme tune based on a saxophone, what game would this be?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And you could just let it go, kind of wild and
Thumb
crazy.
in my bendy sex whistle. There you go. That's probably...
Rodney's going to hear this. Just get them scared.
He's on board.
So imagine, just give me a second, Mr. Smith, while I break out my bendy sex whistle.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that. I can't get out the attic. I can't get out the
I'll just
attic.
say it's an English term. It means vegan sausage roll.
A vegan sausage. Let's not go there. Oh dear. We'll make all the Piers Morgan boys cry, which is fine. Speaking of tickets, he's trying to reel this back in. It's because it's gone. You know, it's like Father Jack. Oh, let him go. Oh, let him go. What's the ticket prices? I just thought there's like various different kind of ticket prices. So, what are the various different ticket prices, and how much are they?
So it's £12 for a day, or £28 for all 3 days. So you save money if you spend more. And then we do discounts for youth. So that's half price. It's like 11 to 18. And then it's free for kids. So that's it. Fairly simple price structure.
That's amazing for kids. Because normally on these type of things, there's a little bit of a premium.
Oh, yeah.
For the kids.
No, well, you know, they're the gamers of the future. So we want to...
Treat them well.
No, so we also do this pretty cool thing. So we team up with Imagination Gaming, who are kind of fairly locally based, and they're really well known for they do a lot of kids games, and they do a lot of workshops and things like this. And on the Friday they run like a little inter-schools tournament that's free for all the kids. It's free for all the teachers. We just let them all in, and they just have a little mini tournament between these different schools. Playing all these cool games. But the hope is that, you know, the kids go home, say, I had an amazing time. It's on for the rest of the weekend. Can we all go back as a family? And that's where we get them. That's where we get into the wallets of mum and dad.
So we get them along next year.
Yeah.
Their hearts and their minds will follow, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, but, you know, like I mentioned earlier, like I've got a daughter now, so she's about 18 months, so still way too young to be kind of playing games. Cool. Maybe I'll get her into Terra Mystica next year. But like we've already kind of said, my wife and I, that, you know, the family gaming night will be a thing in our calendar that we'll just do as a family, because it's a great thing to do all together. So, so if we can get families doing that in some way, and it seems like if you can get the kids wanting to do it enough, and they go home and go, I will cry until you do this with me. You know, that's probably the way to do it.
It's go nuts for donuts, or it's tantrum time.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, you know, and to be honest, it's kind of been good for us on our side of things, because my other half, they're just not into kind of board games really at all. We've kind of been slowly winning them over. A bit of Go Nuts for Donuts, a bit of King Domino, you know, Scythe next week. We'll see how that goes, but we don't know. Yeah. Could be quite good. We could be onto something brilliant. And then City of Kings, and just let them alone.
Have at it, yeah.
And they'll be like, I'm solo gaming this one. You go and do your podcast, son. Let me show you how it's done, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on the internet webs? Mr. Cooke.
So everything is Airecon, but it's Air with an E. So AIRE con.uk is the website. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all Airecon UK. Yeah, that's where we're all over. We've got a Facebook group. We've got an Airecon community where people chat about stuff, and the app, and you can get the app and chat on there too. So all over the place.
And you've got the games library there as well, so people when they come on,
so
they can kind of play the games library.
Yeah, so I think we're over 400 games now that you can borrow for free. Just leave a small deposit that you get back when you bring our game back.
Money as well, guys. Don't be trying to be clever.
It depends on the game. Yeah.
What the fog of love.
Yeah, and so that's really cool, and we'll kind of let people borrow it overnight during the convention as well, so you can take it back to your hotel and play at the hotel. And we've got Wingspan on the way for the library, which would be cool, just before its official release.
Way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And yeah, that's Travelling Man's library actually that we kind of borrow off them. We're sticking a bunch of new games in, so that'd be cool. We've got RPGs going on again, a nice RPG zone. We're going to do a Keyforge tournament, which would be cool. Going to do two. Going to do one on Friday and one on Saturday, and it'll be a sealed deck tournament, so you won't know what you're playing with. You just rock up.
Wow. I'm really, really interested to see how one of those pans out and how many tables will get flipped.
Yeah.
When somebody just goes, "This is rubbish," and then just storm off.
Yeah.
But I think you'd probably stick with Keyforge if you got a silly name.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think I came up with this amazing theory today, actually, that I think, although everything is obviously procedurally generated and it's supposed to be random, I don't think it is. I think the decks that are worse, like to play with, have the sillier names. So
yes.
So because they still want you to hang on to them. And then the ones that are really good decks have the boring names, like Norman is good. But you know that's going to be an amazing deck, because,
Because it's got a really bad name.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So that's going to be like a tenner to enter, but you get a free deck. And then...
Oh, wow, okay.
And the first bit is just kind of playing a few games against each other, and who are like in a few mini leagues. Whoever does the best goes through to semis, and then that'll be kind of a best of three where you swap your deck with the person you're playing against.
And the best thing about this is that could be anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't somebody just rocking up with a kind of the, I think I said this on the last show that we're on, somebody just rocking up with saying, well, I've got this year's must-have instant kill, destroy everything deck. It could be somebody that's like, this is the second time I've played a card game in my life.
Yeah.
And they just happen to kind of click with their deck when they're playing it, and they could kind of get really kind of far, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be that kind of encouragement for just people not. Maybe that's the whole thing about the fantasy flight. Maybe they don't want people feeling they're shut out.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, and I think it's a different crowd that it appeals to anyway. And I think we've never really done tournaments before. But when we kind of play Keyforge, and we're just like, actually, this is really fun. And that was the thing. Like, I think competitions for me have always been a bit serious, and, you sit down and you play the same game for hours on end. Whereas, you get a different deck in Keyforge and it can feel like a completely different experience. And I think that's what we liked. It was fun. And so that's why we decided to do a Keyforge tournament.
Cool.
Yeah, so a ton of stuff going on, and yeah, we're going to have a baking thing as well. So we're going to do.
You have to.
We decided to launch something this year. So obviously, everybody that's there probably has some mild interest in tabletop gaming in some kind of way, and so we thought, what could we do that would help you meet people that have something else in common as well. So we decided to start, like, at university you had like societies, you had the Rock Sock and things like that. So we're starting Air Socks, which are like Airecon societies. So we're going to just do 4 and give it a try and see what happens. But there's going to be a knitting one.
Right.
And we've got, there's a knitting shop in Harrogate that's really good, apparently. And they're going to come and run like a knitting circle. So you just turn up to that and chat about knitting and all of that kind of stuff. We're going to do a baking one, and Kinjoy's going to be there, and just, you can show us some of your baked goods. Yeah.
Sure.
And then I'm hoping I can do it. I'm going to run like a craft beer one, because I love craft beer. Is my other big passion. So, and that'll encourage people to maybe bring along a bottle that they'd like to share, or of their favourite beer or whatever. And then The last one will be like a comics one that will get Travelling Man to run, because they do comics as well as board games. So yeah, and the idea is that, you know, kind of quite informal, but it's just an idea that there's the space for it. You can go there, you know, everybody else in that space, as well as liking board games, they will probably like this other thing that you also like as well. So you might get on. Yeah.
Or there may be fighting in the streets. You know, one or the other.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Just smashing a muffin into someone's head.
I'll be out in the news watching the sirens go past.
Yeah.
As I'm driving away, you know, laughing maniacally because, you know, I was definitely going to win that scone competition.
Just
basically.
with a clump of hair in your hands. Just, I got it.
I got it. It's mine. Rodney's kind of lying in the corner crying with a bald patch at the side of his head. It is mine. I now control him. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what you call this. Thank you very, very much for coming on, Mark. This has probably been the most least serious show, but it's a new year. Do you know what I mean? You know what they say? New year, new me. Nothing's going to stop me. Anybody that gets in the way of this. And it's just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're still wearing the same tracksuit from last year. So what we'll do is we'll make sure we put all the links that you've given us in the show notes so that we've got notes to show. Because I've managed to remember one thing that we used to do. If you want to keep an eye on what we're doing, go to the internet webs and search for We're Not Wizards, and you'll find us on the website, which is we'renotwizards.com, and the blog, which is we'renotwizards.blogspot.com. You'll find us on YouTube, and you'll find us on things like Spotify, and you'll find us on Apple Podcasts and all those wonderful places. If you really like what you've listened to tonight, there's two things you can do. First of all, if you've listened to tonight and say, I'm not listening to this ever again, but if there's somebody that you don't like, that you maybe want to maybe torture them for a little bit and say, oh, there's this funny Scottish guy, you know, the other guy, he's quite good, but there's this other guy you want to listen to, just tell them about us, you know, and kind of spread the word about what we do and how we do it. The other thing is you can always jump onto Apple Podcasts and you can drop us a subscription, or you can drop us a rating or a review. If you do drop us a rating or a review, remember, don't give us 10 stars because it makes us big-headed. But don't give us 1 star because it makes us cry. Give us something in the middle, like a 5, because it's average and we're just a little bit average. But the person who's not been average tonight is rather wonderful, rather fantastic, Mr. Mark Cooke.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on, sir.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a thing.
Yeah, and I didn't even get to tell you about my dad's Christmas dinner.
Yeah, well, you have to come back then.
Yeah, I could come back.
You have to come back, you know. Yeah. There's a lot of editing. I need to get you to come back on and just do some filler bits. Just to make it legible. Yeah.
Or maybe we'll do it in like June or July when everyone's forgotten about Christmas. And everyone's just going, oh, it's so hot. And we'll just start talking about Christmas dinner and it'll be great.
And we can be talking about 6 months until Christmas. So to start off the Christmas preparations, because that's when Amazon's Black Friday sale will start in July. Because that's the way they're going. We could start off with a lovely Christmas story. the Mark Cooke Christmas something or other. I'll think about something. There's only 2 more things to do. The first thing is to remember that we are many things, but we're not wizards. Are we wizards, Mark?
We're not wizards.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Stupid wizards.
Did you just skip bloody wizards?
In cars with
coming
frogs.
Around here. In cars with unlucky frogs. Cars with leaving tea bags at the side of the counter. Wizards. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not one.
You know. I'm definitely glad I'm not one. I mean, if I was one, there'd be something in my Twitter bio. Anyway, and the other thing is to say goodbye. So, say goodbye, Mark.
Goodbye, Mark.
Yes. I'm just embracing that. I used to annoy me now, but I've had a word with myself and I says, don't let it annoy you, because if everybody's going to do it, they might as well just let them do it.
Yeah.
Don't let it annoy you. And the other thing And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe, roll6s.com. And if you are wanting to come to Harrogate Conference Centre and you fancy playing a board game, then come to Airecon. Is it the 8th to 10th?
8th to the 10th of March.
I'm an actual muppet. Actual muppet. But, come down, have some fun, meet some people, see Rodney, see Kim Joy, see Mark. Yeah. You kick about, or do you go and hide?
No, I'm about. I'm fairly easily spot. I'm a pretty big guy. Someone said I was like a moving piece of the hall, like a pillar that just moved around.
Say in America, he's a big galoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
But say hi.
But until say hello to Mark and congratulate him on another successful event. But until the next time, sorry.
A wizard is never late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.